on, everybody? Welcome to the latest episode of Facts Not Included, the podcast. Well, just in case you're curious, and just in case you're kind of like, why does it sound weird? Why does it sound funny? Well, it's because I'm actually recording this in my car. If you hear what appears to be a blinker, or you hear the engine, or you hear something else, don't be alarmed. It is my car. So yeah, we're doing this episode here in the car. It is the Mission Impossible Fallout episode. I just came out of watching it. That's partially why we're doing it in the car as well. Just came out of watching it. Whoa, what a fucking movie! Like, it is action-packed one. I mean, come on, it's Mission Impossible, so it is to be expected, right? But it's a really, really, really fun movie to watch. Quick thing, like, I don't know if you know this, but Mission Impossible is not my favorite franchise of movies out there, but it is a franchise I've enjoyed throughout the years. I've not seen every single Mission Impossible. I've definitely never seen the first one. I know that. Pretty sure I've seen the second one. If not the third. That's when J.J. Abrams kind of took over the franchise. Kind of revamped, I guess, what was known. Because I don't know really. I can't really be the person that tells you the history of Mission Impossible. But from what I understand, Mission Impossible was going through some rough times, I guess. I think he took over the third or fourth installment. Anyway, the last one was Rogue Nation, if I'm not mistaken. And the one before that was Ghost Protocol. I'm pretty sure I definitely seen Ghost Protocol. I just sound like a bumbling idiot being like, I know what I'm talking about. Really don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to Mission Impossible. But I do understand its importance to the world of movies, and I understand its importance to like spy thrillers and stuff like that. It's probably the best. I mean, there's James Bond, of course, but like for some people, like James Bond is untouchable, and then you have the Mission Impossible series. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just rambling about nonsense. I went to go see it at my local, what is now considered my local theater here on the island. I went to go see it at United Artists, Stadium 16. It solid theater. I mean, it was, hey, $15 for a ticket is average these days, so I wasn't gonna complain. That's usually how it is here anyway. I try to go early. I went to the earliest showing, and it still had it for $15. They usually don't do like $11 unless it's like 9 or 10 in the morning. So I guess that's one way of them getting away with not charging you $11 is by showing the movie at like 11:30. So yay for me. But yeah, I don't know. That's a whole other episode, movie ticket prices. But Mission Impossible Fallout is our little episode here, is what we're going to discuss. So for those that aren't aware of the series, I believe this is the 6th installment, might be the 7th of Mission Impossible. A lot has gone through over the years. A character that has made it back is Mr. Lane, according to, again, I didn't do any research before watching this film, but he's pretty important in the series. The whole idea is that they need to get him at some point they need to get to him to get some information about the bomb that he created. There's a lot of weird twists and turns in the movie that some are to be expected and some aren't to be expected. Like in the very beginning of the movie, we are like, this is like pre-title sequence. There's this whole thing with Wolf Blitzer and this whole idea of this doctor who created or who's smart enough to come up with the idea of the bomb. They need him to tell them what to do with it, and they come up with this whole fake sequence that the guy believed that his manifesto and his bomb went off, but it turns out it was all a ruse, so they can get him to confess, and so that they could essentially just arrest him or kill him. That is what happens in this whole pre-title sequence, which I forget if that's a thing for them. I don't remember. You got like in Star Wars, you got the crawl, and then you have this very classic Star Wars theme. But I'm not too sure. I can't remember if Mission Impossible was known for a cold open, and then the dun 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 dun, dun or whatever the sound, how the theme goes. So I'm not sure if they're really known for that, but it really worked for me in this movie because in the beginning I thought, oh fuck, what is his name? I forget the black guy's name, but that actor, I thought his character legit was gonna die right in the beginning. And then Tom Cruise was like, "No, I had to do that," and he just basically shoots him right in the chest. You saw the movie. But I think this movie really works. This movie, for a franchise that for some people, and I have to agree, has gotten better with age. This movie confirms that. This franchise keeps getting better. I feel like each movie has gotten progressively better. Again, I haven't seen them all, but from what I get from other people in the fandom and such, they would have to say that. I think for the Mission Impossibles I've seen, hands down, this is the best Mission Impossible movie I've ever seen. But in actuality, again, haven't seen them all. But when it comes to, I'm sorry, my blinker is going to be on for a little bit here. We're at a very long light, so I apologize. But Mission Impossible, fuck, what was I going to say? For me not seeing them all, this is probably the best one. But I've talked to a couple of people before seeing this movie myself. I've talked to a couple of people and read some stuff on Twitter saying that this is also their favorite Mission Impossible of all time, and that people are going to be pleasantly surprised when they watch this movie. But my thing was, I didn't think I was going to like Henry Cavill's character, right? And I feel like his character was going to make me feel a little sour about this movie going into it, or out of it. The whole debacle with Superman and Justice League and dealing with the whole mustache. And, I still haven't seen Justice League, but the whole idea that the CGI take out his mustache, and was the mustache needed? I guess it was. I don't know. Like, I think they could have done this movie. I don't know what the whole big stink was. Like, they were like, "Oh, he needs to have the mustache for Mission Impossible," and I'm just like, "Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, it's not really necessary. It's not. I mean, yes, he was. It turns out, yes, spoilers, he was the villain, but you don't need to have a mustache in order to be a villain." I don't know if that's what they were going with, but it seems like a lot of these, spy thrillers, if you have a mustache, you're likely the villain. I don't know. I think it was unnecessary. I just didn't think Skydance and whoever else is involved in making this movie needed to give Warner Brothers a hard time when it came to the mustache. I think they could have easily skipped all that. It's fucking stupid, unnecessary. But hey, he looked good in the movie. I'll give you that. Like, he is one of the most attractive actors out there, and maybe the mustache helped a little bit too. I'm not too sure. One of my favorite scenes is a scene that you do see in the trailer, which is, again, it gives you the idea. At least it gave me the idea that he was going to fight Cavill in that scene. But it turns out in the movie, he's not fighting Cavill. Hunt, Tom Cruise's character, is fighting this what seems to be a man of Asian descent, who is supposed to be the main target of this movie. He's supposed to be he's supposed to go to the guy they're hunting down. And I totally forgot his name, and I just saw the movie. The guy that they're hunting down, I think it's Locke. He is supposed to have a meeting with Black Widow or something, her name is, and then information is supposed to be given out and stuff. And Tom Cruise, um, his old one of his old partners comes in out of nowhere. She shoots him, shoots Locke, and Tom Cruise assumes the identity of this character, which everyone was saying is going to be impossible. They definitely are going to know that you're not him. Yada yada yada. And these are one of those twists in the movie where it's like you're thinking that guy's the important dude, and you realize, well, we're only like 45 minutes in. There's no way that could be the case. And then it isn't the case. Um, it turns out that there's more to this whole story. And then I didn't catch it early on. Again, going in, I felt like Cavill was the villain. Coming halfway through the movie or whatever, I was like, well, maybe he's not that bad. And maybe him trying to frame Hunt is just his way to one-up Hunt. And maybe try to, I don't know, be a part of the IMF or something like that. So I wasn't too, like, keen or open to the idea of him being a villain. So I didn't see that. I didn't see any of that. But some people probably watching the movie saw that early on. I'm not too sure. I definitely did not see that. So until probably a bit before it was revealed that he was a bad, but I didn't quite see it early on. I don't know. I didn't quite pick up on that. So that's my fault. But I also thought that what I was going to believe, which is what they wanted me to believe in this movie, was that his ex-partner, I forget her name, the one that he meets, the one that shoots Locke, and the one that winds up following to kill Lane. You know, she was in the motorcycle and everything. I thought maybe she was the big bad, or at least one of the big bads. But it turns out she's just doing her job. She wants to save her ass, save her name from MI6. And she wants to make sure that she can clear her name. And you know, that's understandable. I get that. But I just didn't know really who to believe in. Then I thought Alec Baldwin at some point. Maybe he turned, you know? Because I know from the last movie, he just got that job at the head of the IMF, you know? So maybe he's the big bad, and he was trying to get in there the whole time. I don't know. It turns out that wasn't the case. It's Henry Cavill. And I will say, and I said this right when I got out the movie in my head, I was like, wow, I just saw a Henry Cavill movie led by Tom Cruise. What I meant by that is Henry Cavill stole the movie for me. He stole, you know, every moment he was on screen, he stole the scenes. And I wanted more Cavill, you know. Not that there wasn't enough. I'm just saying, like, I felt that, you know, ooh, he's back, yay! I want to really really pay attention, even though I paid attention throughout the whole movie. And it wasn't that Tom Cruise wasn't good. He was. I'm gonna get to that in a second, but it's just Henry Cavill just stole all of his scenes. Like, oh, I want to see more of this, and I feel like DC's kind of in trouble right now because if they can't lock him up as Superman and keep him there as Superman, he'll be fine for the rest of his career because he could be a decent actor outside of the comic movies. And from if I'm not mistaken, I think he is British, so he has an accent, so this doesn't come natural to him, the American voice that he does. But he does a pretty solid job about it. He kind of does his Superman voice in this movie. But you know, hey, that is to be expected of someone whose accent isn't naturally that of an American, so it's fine. But I want to get to Tom Cruise right now because, listen, say what you want about Tommy Boy, you know, him being a Scientologist and him, you know, possibly being very abusive, and which is, you know, probably all very true. He's probably a terrible person behind the screen. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know the man, so I can't accuse or whatever. But what I will say is that he is one of, and it holds true year after year after year, one of the greatest actors on the planet. And the reason why, and I don't know what it is. By now, I should not be seeing, Agent Hunt. I should be seeing Tom Cruise. But when I watched this movie, I believed in that character. I did not think I was seeing, Tom Cruise as Tom Cruise, which is what you get sometimes from like Bruce Willis and stuff like that. But I believed I was seeing a character. Um, and I was, and that's weird for me with some actors, especially the amount of movies that I get to see in a year, or I let myself see in a year. There are times that you just see that actor phoning it in, or you've seen them enough times, and you're just like, that's Nick Cage doing Nick Cage, But not with Tom. For some reason, he makes me believe that he is that character each and every time. And so I felt that again in this movie. And he does a superb job. But I will say about Tom Cruise, once Mission Impossible finishes, he's going to need to look for some good roles. Because I will say that when he does not do Mission Impossible, um, eh, not his best work, or it's just, I feel like he gives it all. He gives it his all when he does Mission Impossible because he does all the stunts. He does all the stunts. It's amazing. Actually, I want to talk about the stunts for a second because I don't know what. There are moments you could tell some of the stuff is CGI, and obviously some of the stuff with Cavill. Cavill's probably not going to risk his life as much as Tom's going to risk his. But they kind of let you know when the real stunts were happening. Of course, all the stuff on the buildings and when he broke his leg in real life, they showed in the movie. Oh, that's legit. But the moments where, there are moments where him and Cavill were in the helicopter and stuff. Some of that is clearly done in the studio, only because, again, I do not think Cavill is going to want to be dealing with that risk. But when it came to scaling buildings and scaling walls and stuff, that is clearly Tom Cruise being a fucking maniac. Because I don't know who in their right mind would do any of those stunts as the lead actor. I don't know who in their right mind would do such stunts, but that's why he gets paid the big bucks. And I feel like, yes, I love Robert Downey Jr. Yes, I love the fact that he is Iron Man. But I feel like Tom Cruise deserves to be the highest paid actor once more. Because of things like this. Because of things like this. I think that has a lot to do with the respect that I continue to give Tom Cruise. Even though I might not be his biggest fan, I will have to agree that hands down, like I said before, one of the greatest actors that are around today. I feel like each time you see him, he gets a little younger. Yes, he looks a little bit older, but I feel like he goes backwards in time when it comes to action. Meaning that he just gets younger and younger, and he risks more as he gets older, I feel like. And I don't know if that has anything to do with his religion. I don't know if that has anything to do with his will to stay relevant. I have no idea what it is. But it works for him, and it works for me because I'm going to keep watching his movies. But no, this movie does a really solid job of making me feel as if I'm watching the greatest spy thriller ever. They really had me hooked. There were moments where, because I think this movie runs like 220 or something like that, and there were moments where I was just like, I don't know. Sorry, there was never moments where I was like, I don't know if I want to keep watching this. There was never a moment like that. I was hooked from beginning to end. And yes, it takes a lot for you to get me bored, but at the same time, with movies like this, like these action movies like this, right? I could get bored very easily. When I like horror tropes, like I like all the jump scares and stuff, but when it comes to an action movie and a spy thriller like this, the tropes they can get very boring and tiresome to me. But for some reason, in this movie, even though there's plenty of them throughout, um, I didn't get tired of them. I didn't. I enjoyed them. I found them to be placed in moments that really made sense, and so it was all good in the neighborhood, as I say, for me. Like it didn't get bothered. I I would have to really milk on the movie and really think on it, but I don't think that there was a moment in this movie where I was like, "What the hell were these guys thinking?" Yes, there's probably, and I haven't thought about them yet. There's probably plot twists in this movie that don't make sense. There were moments where I was going, I'm a bit confused. And that only it had to do with the fact that I'm not too familiar with this franchise. So all the faces are kind of like the same to me. A lot of people look the same. A lot of people just meld in with each other in some cases, especially like the women actors that they picked. To me, all look the same. Um, now, to make a funny joke, I'm not too sure if that's done on purpose. Like, are all the women in the movie meant to look basically the same because that's what Tom Cruise is in real life attracted to? I have no idea. But yeah, that's the feeling I get. Again, another one of those I don't know the guy type of things. But hey, this guy has enough say and enough leeway to make things like that happen. So you never know. These are things. These are things to think about. But yeah, this there wasn't a single time in this movie where I was like, "Fuck this movie." There were moments where I was a bit confused, and I don't know if that was on me, not knowing the characters as well, or if it was on them for not really telling the story as well, or it could also still be on me for not paying attention. But I think I was, paying attention as good as I can, given the information that I have. Um, but yeah, I know. I don't know. I feel like this is a very solid installment in the Mission Impossible franchise. I mean, what better story to give someone that isn't too familiar with the franchise than this story? I feel like if you do not know anything about Mission Impossible, this is a perfect movie to go walk into. Yes, they are dealing with characters that have been in the franchise prior, Simon Pegg's character and such have been in the franchise for quite a number of years, if not from the beginning. I got it. And so, they've been there for a very long time and they're solidified. And you understand why when one of them is about to die or some point, why as an audience you feel for it, even though you may not have seen all those movies, you get it. The thing about this movie, I love the theme about it. The whole theme basically for this movie is that, yes, it's important to care about the millions of lives, but if you could somehow care about the individual lives, then I wish I was you. Which is basically what the lady from the CIA said. And I like that theme. Because in most movies, it's like, yeah, you could care about the small people, but, you got to sacrifice the individual for the greater good. But this movie was like, no, 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 no. That's not what Tom Cruise is about. That's not what Mr. Hunt's about. He's about saving the millions, but he's got a heart, too. He has this underlying understanding that we need each other as individuals to, thrive and essentially just feel good, and just so, I don't know, I feel like the theme of this movie rang true throughout. They kept reminding you that, hey, let me go. I could I'm fine. But everybody kept going, no, I'm not going to leave you behind. And I love that, because easily there could have been a million sacrifices in this movie. I guess there was, Alec Baldwin essentially didn't sacrifice, but he did say, go on without me, and they did say we're sorry, and we couldn't save him. But he was at that point of no return. He was, they had gotten him so good in the chest where, couldn't save him. But yeah, I don't know. Mission Impossible Fallout. There's been a weird review. It's definitely more I could have said. Again, like I said, the only reason I couldn't do a full review, a detailed review, is because my equipment is not quite set up right now at the moment. I am also driving back home. I have a ton of things for you, but a ton of things to do, and so I felt that I still needed to get this episode out. So the best thing I could do is quickly record it as I'm heading home. Because I know that if I didn't do it this way, there would have never been an episode whatsoever. So I do apologize if this wasn't the best of reviews, the best of episodes. But I will say that we will make that up for you in the next review. And don't forget, this Friday, August 3rd, is the second part of the Tangent Fridays regarding music. Please make sure you check out part 1, Ye Now Scorpion. Just basically a mix title between the 3 albums that we basically discussed in the episode. So I hope you guys enjoyed my little Mission Impossible discussion. Wasn't quite a review. I actually forgot to give my score. At the moment, I mean, again, I just saw the movie. I'm going to have to give this movie a 9.2 out of 10 because that's how much I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with it. Probably one of the best movies I've seen all year, which is just kind of funny. But, hey, that's what it is. But, again, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you check out part 2 of Tangent Fridays this Friday, August 3rd. Make sure you see part 1 to even understand part 2, because it's kind of a jump right into it. And remember that there's an episode every single Friday from us at Facts Not Included, where we dive into whatever it is that we feel like talking about. And then every other Sunday, it seems that we will be dropping a review for a movie. Yes, I think we are having one this Sunday. Christopher Robin, most likely. We're going to go check that out and then talk about it. I'm really excited to see that movie. Because, come on, it's Christopher Robin. But anyway, thank you so much for paying attention to what I was saying, even though it probably made no sense whatsoever. Love you guys. Goodbye.